This is the World of Woocraft podcast by Lord Falconis, exploring the extremity and insanity of New Age extremism and pseudoscientific woo, one lunatic at a time. In this video, we're going to be learning if you, yes you, are among the 144,000 lightworkers. Gotcha, former Christians.
Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carmen. Welcome. Hey guys, in this video today, we're going to talk about the 3 signs that you are one of the chosen ones.
This is Carmen Malik, whose YouTube channel is Stars Align with Carmen, a channel about all things spiritual, with a focus on the next generation of numerology and looking at the world and life through numbers. For example, there's a high probability that this video is going to be ripped off from the Abrahamic faith. That's looking at numbers, baby.
One of the chosen 144,000 lightworkers that is on the planet at this time, helping Earth.
Now, for those of you who are not Christians, let me explain the significance of that number. The 144,000 references something in Revelation where the original 12 tribes of Israel are going to be sealed and protected from, I don't know if they're fully protected from everything that's going to happen in Revelation, but the second death has no power over them. These are the people that are essentially God's chosen. If you are a Jehovah's Witness, you've got another interpretation. You are among the 144,000 if God tells you that you are. So now, we've got Christian bizarrities that have been transformed into New Age baloney.
To ascend and to move into new earth. Are you one of these people? Dolores Cannon talked about these people in her books.
Dolores Cannon is one of the biggest New Age lunatics out there. She's someone that has inspired the garbage that you're about to listen to. And at some point, we're going to cover her. So, just bear that in mind.
After doing numerous hypnotherapy sessions on thousands and thousands of people, she discovered that there was a special group of people who decided before they were born to come to planet Earth at this time because planet Earth...
Oh, here we go. So what she's low-key implying about is what's called soul contracts. The soul contract in the New Age philosophy is when somebody essentially says, oh, this X, Y, and Z is going to happen to you, and you can't deviate out of it because it's all part of the terms and conditions of your contract. And it's also a way to promote victim-blaming mentalities and a whole bunch of other garbage.
Earth was in desperate need of help and needed to raise its vibration.
This sounds like modern stuff, but this has been going on for the last 60 years. It's the same narrative over and over again.
And this group of people chose to incarnate onto the planet at this time to help planet Earth ascend into this brand new cycle and golden age known as New Earth.
Yeah, they've been saying this for a long time. The odds of this happening are about the same as the book of Revelation happening.
That will be a completely different planet than the Earth that we are used to seeing. And this transition will be happening over the next few hundred years.
Oh wow, how conveniently long.
But this special group of people, their souls volunteered to come down onto the planet at this time to help with this ascension, so that Earth could move into its golden age, finally, after all this time.
This sounds like something great and wonderful and all that stuff, but bear in mind, she's going to start appealing to people who might be a bit more reclusive or might be people who have been ostracized, in particular people with, say, autism or ADHD, or people that just don't really fit in well with mainstream society. It's an attempt to try to get people into believing that they are starseeds.
And these 1,444 souls, Dolores Cannon named the Lightworkers, and they...
A light worker is essentially someone that works with the light, I know, vague term, to help people and heal people and all of that. The problem is a lot of people who claim to be light workers really aren't good people. For example, Jordan Pierce and Teal Swan both claim to be light workers. Elf Lady, when we covered her, also claimed to be a light worker. And none of these people are good people.
They are the chosen ones on our planet at this time. And this is less than 1% of the world's population. Let me repeat that. Less than 1%.
I think the numbers have changed now. Actually, let's do some calculations since we're all about numbers tonight. Let's see here. 144,000. And we'll divide it by 7 billion. Because that's roughly the current population of humanity right now. It might be a little bit higher, but we'll go with that just for the ease, just for simplicity's sake. Oh, this is bad. There's a Euler number in here, so I'm not even gonna bother trying to explain this to figure it out. But let's just say that the number is astronomically lower than what she's probably claiming that it is.
So this really is a special group of people, a divinely chosen.
Tell that to the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Special group at this time on our planet. So are you a chosen one? We're going to talk about the 3 signs that indicate that you are a chosen one. And if you
I believe the term is narcissist.
have these 3 signs, then that's a definite confirmation that you are. And if you want more information about this, check out another video I did about the chosen ones and the leaders of the new earth. I will put.
Gee, so I'm guessing there must be some very specific criteria in order for you to determine yourself to be among the 144,000, because the Jehovah's Witnesses were all about that specificity with the 144. It totally isn't just, oh, well, God said I was among the 144 grand, so I must be it, right? Right?
Links to both of those videos below in the description box. So let's talk about the first sign that you are one of the chosen ones.
Oh boy.
And that is a feeling as though you have never fit in.
What did I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all? Right out of the gate. As if you never fit in. I think that's like freaking 10. That's like practically 30 to 40% of the populace already. Like, I already know there's a decent-sized population of people with autism and several other problems that keep them from being able to integrate, like, fluidly into the mainstream. So already we've got some issues here, lady.
That's right. Do you feel as though you have never fit into this world that we live in?
I reckon every member of my audience can say this to you. So that alone would probably put it a little bit higher than 144,000.
From the time they are children, chosen ones feel like they don't belong on the planet.
Well, that would be weird because assuming these chosen ones are real, didn't they choose to be part of this planet? So that's kind of confusing.
They often did not fit in at school and around their peers and around other kids. They often did not fit in with their families as well. A lot of them felt.
You are literally describing everyone in my community now. So apparently we're all now part of the 144,000.
Felt like they were the black sheep of the family or the odd man out in the family. This is very common, but there is a very profound sense within them that they do not fit into this world that we are a part of. And they often do not understand this world and why things happen in this world the way they happen. So there's often a deep sense of like they don't belong here.
Yes, we've gone over that already.
They really often feel like they don't even belong on the planet at all. That's very common. And they never really fit into this world.
You've said that for the last 2 minutes. What is with these people and repeating the same shit over and over again?
And one of the reasons they don't fit into this world is because they were not meant to be a part of this world.
But they chose to be part of this world according to the soul contract that they signed. Now you're contradicting yourself.
They were meant to be leaders of the new world and the new earth.
Sounds like they got tricked.
So as a chosen one and a leader of the new earth, you were never meant to fit in, and you were never meant to belong.
See, there we go. It sounds good, but it can also be used to victim blame. It can say, well, you chose to be a part of this, so deal with it.
You were not meant to fit into this world because you were meant to be a leader of the new world. You were always going to have a feeling of disconnection and a feeling of that you were not in the right place. So that feeling within them, that feeling that you have.
You have literally spent the last 2 or 3 minutes repeating the same thing about not fitting in. Can you please move on to the next subject, please?
As a chosen one, you're meant to have that because it's meant to show you that you were not born to be a part of this world. You were born to be a part of the new world, and you were born to lead the new world as one of its leaders. So that's going to be a huge sign that you are one of the chosen ones. It's that feeling. It's that.
I picked this video to be a warm-up video, so we're about halfway through, and she's only covered the first sign. We're not going to get very far into the next few, I get the feeling.
Knowing within you that you were not meant to be a part of this world. And that's because you were not meant to be a part of this world.
My God,
and that feeling
stop already.
is your authenticity. And that leads us to the second sign that
Thank
you are a
God.
chosen one. And that is that you are a highly sensitive person.
Highly sensitive person is a very vague thing. It is not something that is diagnosed in psychiatry or psychology or any form of medicine. It's something that pseudoscientists and lunatics came up with.
You're highly sensitive to other people's energy, and you're highly sensitive to the energy of the environment around you.
A lot of this is going to go into things like starseedism and clairvoyance, but there's another theory that I read that I think is probably a bit more accurate. Most of the people that have these highly sensitive feelings are people that were traumatized through abuse. And because they were traumatized and abused, they have more heightened senses as to how to keep themselves safe from danger, which is trying to make sure everybody else they don't do anything to piss off other people.
So what that means is that you absorb other energy very, very easily. So it can be difficult for you to be in crowded places around many people. It might even be difficult for you to be around just a few people. Chosen ones often like...
I mean, so are you literally saying that every introvert is a chosen one? Because, yeah, the amount of extroverts versus introverts is lopsided towards extroverts, but that's still a bigger number than 144 grand, I reckon.
To spend a lot of time alone. And that's because when they're around other people, they absorb their energy very easily. And so they feel other people's emotions and feelings, even if they don't want to. And they often will absorb that like a sponge and start to mimic the way other people are thinking and feeling.
I mean, that's basic human absorption. We adapt and we mimic other people's behaviors because we want to be a part of that environment. You know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
So for many chosen ones, they like to spend time alone or with just one or two other people.
You are literally describing introverts. There are more than 144,000 introverts on this planet.
So that they can protect their energy. But they're also highly sensitive to their environments as well. And it can be difficult for them to watch events that are negative. And they will be highly affected by it for days, often thinking about it for days. And their feelings can...
Define negative. Are we talking about some gory movie that that if they're not prepared for it, could traumatize them? Because, yeah, that could happen. If you're talking about something a bit sad, then, yeah, that could happen too. Like, you're intentionally being vague about negative.
Get hurt very easily as well because they are such highly sensitive people and they are tuned into the environment at a much greater intensity than your typical person. And so they will often try to be gentle and kind to other people because they know how much it hurts when people are not gentle and kind with them. And because they are so highly sensitive, they are often drawn to spiritual and esoteric concepts and knowledge, because spirituality and esoteric concepts
make them feel better about themselves.
Help them to navigate their sensitivity And it helps them to make sense of a world that they do not understand.
And a lot of the times, the reason that they don't understand is because often they have problems such as autism and ADHD, things that they should see a therapist about or understand, so that they don't think that it's because of some soul contract that they signed.
World that they do not understand because they don't belong in it and they don't fit into it. So it helps them to understand this world at a much deeper level. And as highly sensitive people, they need that guidance. So that leads us to number 3.
Bear in mind, there's only 3 minutes left in this video.
Third sign that you are a chosen one. And that is a deep feeling within you that you know you were meant to do something big in this world.
I mean, that's something that's literally conditioned into every kid in the United States. You're going to do big things. You're going to go on and do amazing things. You're going to move mountains. So now you're describing literally every person raised in America at the minimum.
Often from the time they are little, chosen ones know that they are different.
Or alternatively, you're describing narcissists.
They know that they are different than their peers. They're different than their family members. They're the odd man out.
You're literally going right back into step 1. This is literally step 1 all over again.
They're the one that doesn't
Or rather, sign 1.
belong, right? So they have this feeling from the time they are young that they are different. And they also have the feeling that they were meant to do something different. And they often don't know what that is growing up. They know they were meant to do something big, but they often have no clue as to what that is. Usually until they have their spiritual awakening. And
oh yes, the spiritual awakening, conveniently done by a starseed consultant who charges a boatload of money in order to do so. This woman in particular charges $250 for an hour and a half of her services. I'm not joking.
chosen ones will go through a spiritual awakening in which they awaken to the truths, the hidden truths that have been hidden. They start to discover the truths about the universe. For some of them, all at once. For others, little by little, they discover these truths. And this helps to guide them often in the right direction as to what exactly their mission is and their specific purpose is, right? Because this feeling that they have within them that they're meant to do something big and different in the world, this is their mission. Right? They all come down here with a specific mission.
If they come down here with a mission, shouldn't they know what that mission is from day 1? Why do they have to figure it out from a fucking YouTube video? Why do they have to get someone to tell them what their mission is? They should know what their mission is from day 1, since they agreed to come here and incarnate onto this planet. It makes no sense.
That they were given before they were born, that they knew that they were going to carry out on the planet. And so this feeling that they have within them, this is actually their mission. And so the spiritual awakening that they have often helps them to figure out what that is. And it's going to be different for all of them. So if you have this sign, then that's a huge indication that you are a chosen one. And if you have all 3 of these signs, then you are definitely a chosen one. And that is your confirmation today.
You have literally given no specific information. I could arguably describe 10% of the planet at minimum, which is a hell of a lot more than 144,000 people. You know, it's kind of funny how that number also got dropped too at the end of all this.
So anyways, I hope that this message resonated with you today. Let me know in the comments below if it did and what part of this message resonated with you the most.
Literally the part where you bullshitted, so that was the entire message. Great work.
And if you liked this video, hit the like button and share it with other people.
Nope, we're not doing that. Screw that. So, there you have it. If you are a misfit, if you didn't fit in all the time, if you're an introvert or a homebody, and you feel like you were supposed to do something with your life, you too could be a member of the 144,000 piles of shit. In this video, we learn about the world after the eclipse, which, oddly enough, is very similar to the one we have now.
The solar eclipse in Aries, a brand new, exciting cycle, truly, truly transformational. Everybody's talking about it. But you might be sitting around going, well, what's a big deal? All I saw was the sky got dark for a minute. Or some of you are like, I didn't even see that. Did I miss the memo? What's happening here?
Well, yeah, that's because it's just an eclipse. This is Sonia Choquette, who, according to her bio, is a globally celebrated and dynamic spiritual teacher, sixth sensory consultant, I don't know what that means, enchanting storyteller, and transformational visionary guide. I cannot say that with a straight face. She's written 19 international best-selling books, quotes around the best-selling, on intuitive awakening, personal growth, creativity, and transformational leadership. But honestly, the only thing that she seems to be a leader in is getting the first toke.
My name's Sonia Choquette. Today I'm going to talk about what has and is happening and what possibilities are opening up for you as we move into this new transformational period. The solar eclipse, full solar eclipse in Aries with the Aries energy, is about having just our collective planet raise in vibration.
Our collective planet raised in vibration. Now, if you were here last week for our eclipse commentary, you know that the eclipse only centered around North America. So what she's essentially saying is this eclipse, which only affected one part of the world, is somehow raising the vibrational frequency of everywhere else. Granted, yes, solar eclipses are pretty rare, but they do happen with enough frequency that, there goes the lens cap, that it really cannot be considered something magical or anything. All it is literally the moon getting in the way of the sun.
Now, how do we experience that rise in vibration? Well, a lot of ways. For example, maybe your life feels pretty normal, but your body doesn't feel quite right. Maybe you feel like you're walking on sponges, or I know I do. I feel like I'm walking on a swing sometimes.
Maybe you should see a doctor about that.
And if that is happening, that your whole physicality doesn't feel quite secure,
see a doctor.
it's because we are in a new planetary frequency. So if that happens, take a breath, get quiet, look around, and become really anchor yourself by noticing what's around you very closely.
Granted, that can be a good idea if you're stressed, but if you're constantly getting dizzy, that's a sign that there's something medically wrong with you, and you probably need to go talk to a doctor about it.
There's the tree, there's the building, there's the light, and also scan for what's the best thing I see, because that might be one of your guides to say, Lord is here to help you. So
I'm guessing it's not what I'm watching.
So you start looking for the beautiful, the positive, the opening, the opportunity, the connection.
What does any of this have to do with the eclipse?
Another thing to do is to start listening to your inner senses are going to start coming online, and nobody's going to get left behind. You will get gut feelings. You will feel something.
Left behind, like the Christian book series? What do you mean by that?
In your heart.
Because she's not a Christian.
You will feel energy that says either go for it or hold back, and it'll be fairly difficult to ignore it. However, you still have free will, and you still have a choice on how you respond.
Unless you think you have a soul contract, apparently.
So be aware. One of the ways in which you can sabotage yourself is when you do get this inner guidance, you go to an old habit. Just remember, we are in the new frequency, so that means new behaviors. The old habit is to be negative, be suspicious, just...
Oh boy, here we go. So here's another problem I get with New Agers like Sonia Choquette. They take the concept of thinking positive and positive thinking and take it to a major extreme, to the point where you are to eradicate any form of negativity. This is called toxic positivity. And the people that shill this stuff, I like to call them toxic positivity advocates, or TPAs. Toxic positivity is something you want to avoid.
Push it away, laugh at it, call it weird, just treat it as not okay, when in fact you're getting really good divine guidance and support as your inner divine nature is activating and coming online. Instead, try this. Say, yes, thank you. I'm getting a vibe. Yes, thank you. Don't go there. Step here.
Oh, yes. Give me more vibes. More pain. More pain, universe. That's what it sounds like to me. Like you ask, almost like you're supposed to be asking for more pain and problems.
In fact, I have a funny story to tell you.
Please don't tell it.
My 3-year-old granddaughter is visiting me in Paris today with my daughter. And her favorite thing in the world to do is to go to the park every day, to go to the playground. So we started getting ready. It was a perfectly lovely day, a little overcast, but nice temperature. And so we're getting her ready. And usually she's running out the door. She says, I don't want to go. I do not want to go. And we're like, of course you want to go. Like, I don't want to go. And then my daughter said, do you think she's picking up on something? And I said, probably, but
maybe she just didn't want to go. Occam's razor and all of that.
Let's proceed and see what happens. Well, they got out the door and a half a block away, and all of a sudden, in a split second, there was a torrential downpour, and they got soaked. My 3-year-old granddaughter.
So a bunch of things could have happened here. One, your kid knew that it was raining, which could actually happen, and she didn't want to get wet. Or two, maybe she just didn't want to go. Why do you have to automatically presume that it was some sort of vibe?
I was saying, see, I told you. And she was absolutely right. We're like, man, even the most seasoned of us who trust our vibes can learn a thing or two right now. And especially listen to the little ones, because they...
But if you think you can trust your vibes and then something like that happens, that really discredits your ability to look at your vibes, Sonia.
Yeah, full on board and very clear. Another thing to do is, and do be aware that your ego might fight this, and it's just like an old curmudgeon dog that just wants to keep things under control. I have a client that I was recently mentoring, and he said, well, he told me 3 amazing, miraculous things he had manifested using his higher consciousness and his inner senses. And then he said,
oh yes, he totally manifested these things, and he totally didn't come up with it himself.
I do have one question.
Oh boy.
Okay, I'm listening. Anything. And he said, why are you mentoring me? And I said, I am absolutely not going to answer that ridiculous ego-centered question.
That doesn't sound very ego-centered. It sounds like a legitimate question. Why are you tutoring me? Why are you mentoring me? What interest do you have in me? Is it because you have some altruistic streak in me? You want to see me get better? Or do you have some other ulterior motive in mind? That's not very ego-centered at all. That's a legitimate question, lady.
You answer it. You let your spirit answer it. I'm going to cater. That's just your ego trying to hold you back.
And wouldn't my spirit be my ego at this point? What if I give you an answer and I think it's correct, but then you say, oh, that's the wrong answer. You're listening to your ego. You need to channel your spirit. And if they do decide to give you an answer that's correct, it's conveniently the one that fits your narrative.
And stay in that old identity. This solar eclipse in Aries invites us all to step into a brand new self.
No, it doesn't. It's just an eclipse.
Brand new you. And you have to watch those old habits, because you still have free will and you can sabotage yourself and bum everyone else out as well. Instead, don't bother with those questions.
Yes, don't question me. Just do me. Or do what I say. I feel like this is literally every controlling religion on the planet right now.
Honestly, I teach courses in how to read energy and read life, and many of my students say, I have a question. It's like, no, you don't. Your ego has a question because it doesn't want to grow and give up control. So let's just think about...
No, your ego, wouldn't you be encouraging questions? These are the kinds of things you want people to do. You want people to question you. if a scientist has something and they can't defend against a question, then there's an issue going on. That means something's wrong. If I ask you a question and you respond with, well, that's just your ego talking, that's a serious problem.
About those questions, when you get on an airplane, do you say to the pilot, I have a question, can you please explain to me how aerodynamics works before I take my seat?
No, because I'm an aviation geek, but pilots should be able to at least give the bare basics as to how it works, or maybe even a flight attendant. It's not a big deal. And if the person is concerned about flying and wants to know, then the pilot's gonna do anything they can, assuming they have time, to ease the passenger's fear.
Probably not. And I think you should take that same attitude as you're ascending to the fifth dimension.
So basically, fuck any question my client would have to say, they should just listen to me. That is extremely narcissistic.
Just go with it. You're naturally designed to do it. The universe has got your back. Just don't be so controlling. Go with it. Instead of...
just go with it. Just go with the flow. Do whatever. See where that takes you. It usually takes you to a bad place. I remember going with the flow when I was younger. I went with the flow. I went with where I thought the universe was taking me for my destiny. And it ended up being one of the dumbest decisions I ever made. So I know that she'd probably bounce back with some excuse like, well, you just weren't listening to the universe, or you were listening to your ego or something. But I truly believed that shit. And the fact that I truly believed it is not something that she can argue.
Dissect it and try to understand it. And by the way, I just want to point out something. We overrate understanding. Think of all the
what the heck does that mean?
The problems you have in your life, maybe the therapy you've had with it, where you actually understand. I had a bad childhood. I had narcissistic parents. I come from addiction. I understand and you haven't changed. So let's not go for understanding as the marker for our growth.
Well, wouldn't it be good to understand where your trauma came from so you can start working to heal it? Why are you saying this?
Let's just go for the feeling of going with these new natural senses that are coming online. I want to point out...
What senses? What does this have to do with the eclipse? This just sounds like regular-ass New Age gobbledygook that you're putting in and twisting to the eclipse, which, by the way, did not happen in Paris.
And some of my tools I've talked about, one of them is to bring these inner senses more immediately online. You can use my Ask Your Guides deck. I've been...
Whoa. Hang on one second. What was that?
You can use my Ask Your Guides deck.
Maybe you might want to try, I don't know, making sure your shit's not upside down.
Not upside down. Sorry. My Ask Your Guides deck. Because it is an easy...
How convenient. She advertises her own stuff really quickly.
...way to start a conversation and train you to...
But I guess at least it's not like Teal, who literally shoves her own videos in her faces saying, if you want more information about me pulling stuff out of my ass, check out this video about me pulling bullshit.
Change the channel and listen to your higher self. You can use my Ask Your Guides deck. It is brilliant. Or maybe you have another one.
Oh, I'm sure it's brilliant. Of course it's brilliant.
The key is trust your vibes. Go with what you feel, but it helps you get out of your head and get a fresh perspective. And then just say yes.
Just say yes. You know, when I was in the program, one of the things that they would tell you to do is you need to take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. You need to just go with God. Just go with prayer. Just pray. This is literally the same kind of garbage that she's talking about right now, except not as Christian-y.
Now, another tool that I want to introduce to help you overcome that negative, ego-controlling perspective that really brings you down and holds you back from this new experience is this. It's my Trust Your Vibes guided...
How convenient. Another book that she conveniently wrote.
...journal. Now, maybe you have a journal, in which case, or you do journal, perfect. The reason the Trust Your Vibes guided journal could be useful is it has prompts and questions.
You mean like every other gratitude journal out there?
Then you only have to write for 5 minutes a day, but it points your awareness to this guidance coming up. And once you write it down, you can't ignore it.
Watch me.
So even after working with this journal for 10 days, all of a sudden, your whole inner self is going to be tuned in and oriented to listening to your vibes.
To what? To my vibes. That's incredibly vague. What does that even mean?
That was my deck. It just fell down. To listening to your
Hey, that could be a sign, Sonia. Maybe it's a sign that everything that you're saying is full of shit right now. You ever think about that?
vibes. So that it's 5 minutes a day. And these questions help you see.
I love how this is a low-key advertisement for her book. That is some subtle marketing right there. I think this is some of the most subtle marketing I've seen of a New Ager so far. It's not like Andrea Wiseman, who literally throws like and subscribe in your face every 3 minutes on her videos.
See life and see the connection between things that your left brain, your ego brain, just misses. It just can't see any side. So if you want to accelerate yourself, that could be a super easy, useful, and exciting tool because, promise you, if you get this book and fill it out after 2 weeks, it'll be the most exciting book you've ever read.
I'm sure.
Your own genius being recorded.
Genius. No. We're not geniuses. We are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the earth.
As you go, and it'll strengthen your intuitive voice to become the dominant compass of your life instead of your fearful ego.
See, and now here's all the gobbledygook. You'll be the leader, the compass, the everything, the quantum, all a bunch of buzzwords designed to make it sound like something inspirational and powerful.
Another thing you want to do is slow down and get your head a little bit out of...
Again, this is all general advice. How does the eclipse have anything to do with this? This is literally the main argument I had with all 3 videos last week.
Out of the clouds and out of your phone, and look at the world around you, because you have a lot of guides around you and many, many earth angels.
Hello? Guides? Anyone want to say something? Anything? Nope. Nobody's talking, Sonia. Maybe you might want to revise that.
So just one more thing I want to point out this week that could be very useful is pay attention to earth encounters with other humans that are unusual.
So don't pay attention to Mars encounters? Don't pay attention to moon encounters? Why do you have to emphasize that it's an earth encounter?
Because...
And what do you mean by unusual? That's incredibly vague.
Guides are showing up either themselves, then just through strange encounters, or angels, or people are being used to channel guidance.
Well, that's just vague enough to work.
For example, I was getting my hair done last week in that French salon where it's very lovely, but certainly not chatty Cathyville. And I was quietly waiting my turn and just kind of cooking away, and this
Cooking away? What do you mean by that?
beautiful woman came over to me who worked there and said, "Do you ever feel like the earth is changing and things are different?" And I said, "I do. It is." She
Yes, this totally happened.
said, "I really feel it, and I just felt like I needed to talk to you about it. Would you
Oh, yes, this totally happened.
mind if we set an intention? Would you do that with me, because I can't?"
Yes, this stranger literally comes up to this lady that she doesn't know and uses a new age term like set an intention. This totally must have absolutely happened.
I feel like I need to do it with someone, and I really apologize if this is weird. And I said,
Yeah, that's a little inappropriate, but what do you mean?
"It's not weird. It's refreshing. It's unusual at the hair salon, but I'm all in."
Let it be known that Sonia Choquette likes to do it in the salon.
And then she said, "Have you ever heard of the prayer, the Ho'oponopono?"
The Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian concept that New Agers have run with. Not so much with Sonia. Joe Vitale is really big on it. And it's essentially this thing about just letting go and forgiving people, which is literally every other philosophy these people come up with.
And I said, "I do. It's the forgiveness prayer." And so she said, "Let's do it." And she just then immediately closed her eyes, tears coming down her cheeks. Started
Lady, are you describing a prayer session or or a orgasm? Because I can't because I can't tell the difference here.
praying about forgiving everybody, everything, and making room for the new and releasing and being.
And once again, I really, really doubt that this actually happened. Like, can you just imagine this scene right now? Sonia and this random beautiful lady, I don't know why she had to emphasize that she was beautiful, are just sitting there, and they are literally crying their eyes out, doing the Ho'oponopono prayer. And what, are people just not paying attention to all of this? Are people looking? Like, I imagine this salon must be pretty busy if she was waiting for someone to take care of her. So this was all happening with an audience? What's going on here?
Grateful and made me cry. I'm in the hair salon. And it was miraculous. I felt this wave of old things.
Well, yeah, prayer tends to do that to you. That's emotional manipulation. I know that in the program, and all of the people who are watching right now who are former Christians also have that experience.
My divorce, friendships that disappointed me, my own mistakes, things I stress about, things I've carried from childhood just left off. So 2 things on that. Pay attention to people who show
So this prayer, wow, thanks, I'm cured.
up, and B, look up the Ho'oponopono. It's simple. It just is, you call to mind any person you have energy with that's negative or uncomfortable. You say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. You say it to God. You say it to yourself. You say it to everything.
And that's going to cure me. Wow.
Sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Why is it that people have to forgive me? What if they were the transgressor? What if they were the person who hurt you? Why do I have to apologize for that to them?
Thank you. I love you, and mean it. See, that's the power. So that's another thing that you might have some interest. And tell me, put it in the comments. Have you had any of these experiences? Has an earth angel showed up?
No.
Are you walking on marshmallows? Are you starting to really come online intuitively? And are you listening? We're going to learn to be in this 5th dimension frequency. We have come over the hill, and now we're in it. Now we just have to learn.
No, no, and no. The 5th dimension, at least in New Age philosophy, is just a bunch of gobbledygook.
How to live with it, and how to become really empowered. It happens pretty quickly because we are hardwired as divine beings to be creators. We just have to break some old habits. But this beautiful eclipse and this brand new energy in Aries,
which, if you take everything that you said and put it into a vacuum without the eclipse, could literally align with anything. You could say this about an earthquake that happened. You could say this about a thunderstorm somewhere. Hell, you could say this about, I don't know, a fireworks factory blowing up. You're literally taking your whole spiel and just filling in the blank with the event of the day. That's all this video is.
Is like a huge burst of divine support to say, okay, enough. Quit dinking around with the old stuff. Let it go. There's far too much good stuff to get on with, and learn how to create for yourself. I'm feeling it. You're feeling it. Don't let your old habits doubt it or hold you back and ruin the fun. Living in the 5th dimension is quite miraculous, and we are all
It's also non-existent.
on our way to letting it become the new normal. So again, if you need some help, if you need some help, the Ask Your Guides Oracle deck, as I've
So should I ask my guides to take your deck? Okay.
been mentioning, Trust Your Vibes Guided Journal. It's very unusual
This whole eclipse video is basically an advertisement for her 2 products. I think that's pretty much what I figured out.
because the questions it asks you to pay attention to in the morning and in the evening for 5 minutes will turn up the volume of your intuition, and because you write it down, you can't ignore it. I'm telling you, in a week, you're going to have it.
I hate journaling, by the way. As someone with ADHD, journaling was the bane of my existence. So, yeah.
Evidence.
Evidence.
You are fully entering the 5th dimension, and you're going to love it. So thanks for tuning into my channel. I am so excited to be in this new vibration.
And you mean it's literally the same vibration, except you're
We have just
rebranding it.
crossed the
Give
solar.
me a minute to redo this because I wanted to hang on the video. There we go. Where'd you go? Whatever. There we go. As we've noticed with all of these videos, it's literally take the event of the day and just wrap the same old spiel around it. Like I said, you could take this video about the eclipse, remove the eclipse, and replace it with some other event that happened, and it could be the same video. The eclipse is just the thing that would entice you onto it. That's how people like Sonia Choquette work. And it's a bunch of garbage. In this video, we'll watch a quantum flapdoodle pinhead explain how he enlightened himself with a highly dangerous diet. The picture of a day thing is so 2007, Jordan.
When everything is stripped bare, all of the cravings that food is often associated with.
Yeah, that's going to be a big hint for where we're going with this one. This is Jordan Pierce, the founder of Spirit Science, a YouTube channel which sells every aspect of woo and pseudoscience under the sun. Next to Teal Swan, Jordan and his information and his organization are among the worst offenders of YouTube when it comes to quantum flapdoodle.
And the drive that it gives you, like when you've cleared out the sugar and the caffeine, these kinds of things that we can get so addicted to that.
So it sounds like this is all good stuff, getting rid of sugar, getting rid of caffeine, all good things, but let's see where he goes with this, because it's going to go to an extreme place real quick.
That honestly we use as tethers to pull us through. When everything is just stripped bare, and all that's left is like the mind and the will and the flesh.
Then you're pretty much dead, Jordan.
You find out really who you are inside. There's something that we need to discuss collectively about our health.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of people that are talking an awful lot about health. And I'm sure you could join those circles, but I don't think they're going to be very happy with you joining them, given the kind of stuff that you believe, Jordan.
Like the health of humanity, the health of our bodies.
All very important things, but I don't think they work the way you think they do.
Of our collective mind and our collective hearts working together towards something. But I want to start small here today and just talk about the health of our bodies. Our bodies are these amazing alchemical machines, and the way that they process food is a miracle to behold.
No, it's not. It is the product of evolution and biological processes. You could literally say the same of bacteria.
We're often not aware of the magic of food alchemy, the way that things
What the hell is food alchemy, Jordan? Where the hell did you pull that out of?
combine together in the stomach, and the way that the body generates flora and fauna in order to process certain things. We also don't recognize just how much some things don't go together.
Well, yeah. For example, certain bacteria don't work well with your body. Certain viruses don't work well with your body. The things that come out of your mouth don't work well with logic and reason.
We need to understand how food alchemy works. And so I have some recommendations just to look into. If this is something that you're interested in, you will be amazed at what takes place if you learn about Ayurveda and the three gunas.
Oh no.
The three gunas are the three states of reality, and they stand for sattva, rajas, and tamas. One
And what does any of this have to do with food and dieting, Jordan?
is an enlightened state, one is an active state, and one is a heavy, ignorant state. These three states apply to food very well as well. And so simple foods like rice can be very sattvic, and spicy foods can be very active inducing.
But rice can also be very tiring because carbs do that for you. Like, who are you, a person who isn't even a dietitian, trying to decide and explain food advice to people?
And then fried foods or fast foods or old stale foods are like tamasic, and then you just eat them and you're like, ugh, I just want to...
While I will readily agree fried foods are not exactly the healthiest thing, you comparing them to stale bread is kind of an extreme bizarrity.
Relax, you know? And perhaps there's a time and a place for all of them, but that's for each of us to decide for themselves.
And conveniently, he's going to say how you can decide that.
And Ayurveda teaches the magic and science of food alchemy. Which
What the hell is this?
foods go together well and which foods don't.
Great, so you're calling yourself a sommelier, except with food in general, Jordan? Is that where we're going with this?
And I just have to bring this up. This is so interesting and so funny. I feel like a newborn today. Like, my fast just ended a few days ago, and
Your fast. What kind of fast is this? I don't like where this is going, Jordan.
the first few days I learned a lot about food combining all over again within my body. And as of basically this morning, one thing I
You can tell something is sus because he's not looking right into the camera.
received was this.
Like, not even doing glancing shots. He's literally looking away from the camera.
I felt as though it was like this motherly, divine mother presence kind of come over.
Oh, God. Don't do the Christ Sophia shit again, Jordan. That's a whole other kit and caboodle. Where he claimed that, I think, the lady who played Hermione Granger was like the Christ Sophia or something like that. That's a whole other can of worms that we're going to have to discuss at some point.
Over me and say, you are a newborn baby today. You have to be very, very clear. You're also reverse aging from like an old man. Like I'm
Jordan, I would look in the mirror and I would disagree with that assumption. You look like you've been put through a ringer right now. Maybe because you've been fasting.
Benjamin Buttoning. and
No,
I'm like,
dude. No, it doesn't work that way.
I am, aren't I?
No, dude. You're not.
But then I also feel like I just came out of the womb. And it's like, okay, well, the old man can only eat soft things and warm milk.
What? In what world are you talking about, Jordan?
And the baby, too, needs warm milk. And so...
What are you getting at? This is starting to feel kind of creepy, Jordan. This whole, the baby needs milk and the old man chooses soft things. This is kind of disturbing, Jordan.
Next 3 days, you're pretty much going to be living on dairy. And I'm like...
Dairy, which can be extremely fattening. I thought... See, this is the problem we already see with his whole argument here, is that arguably speaking, food could be good or bad. There is no hard thing that says it is or is not. It seems to be some vague and ambiguous criteria.
Actually, that sounds kind of fun. Like, what a fun experiment. Because,
Also, I didn't think he was... I thought he was vegan, but I guess not.
I was finding that, just even like starting to mix it. I was like berries, like it was soft things. My dear brother actually made for me. Oh, what a soul. He made for me a cherished rice pudding, which is what...
Yeah, it looks kind of good, but...
Gautama Buddha had at the end of his major fast.
Oh my God.
Which led to his enlightenment. And I was speaking about it, being like, I kind of want to make this. And my friend was like, I want to surprise you with it. And it's not a surprise now, but don't make it yourself. I'm like, oh my God. And it was so special. But as I
love the happy music that plays right now. God, this guy is just as good at music manipulation as Greg Locke is.
Started mixing in other things, they were delicious, but the body was like, I'm not quite ready for this. I'm in between being born in one direction and dying in the other.
What the hell are you talking about? It's rice pudding. It's literally one of the easiest things for your stomach to digest, Jordan. What kind of nightmare world are you talking about?
and then crossing back over.
Are you high? Because this sounds like you're high. You know what? Give me a minute. Let's zoom in on this. I'm going to zoom in. I feel like he's high. Let's zoom in. He doesn't look high. Huh. I don't know. There's just something going on with him right now that suggests that he's not completely in a normal state. I think I think he's on something. I don't know. Let's get it back to normal. All right, here we go. Back to the shit.
And then going around this loop, and I'm like, oh, okay, because now, like, I'm gonna be now on the journey of like gaining the weight back, but actually, honestly, I'm finding this so interesting that like today I went out and I picked up some milks at the store, and I found this. This is so cool. Water buffalo milk, like organic water buffalo milk, like. What? And it says, well, what's so special about it?
You've got to be stoned. You have to be.
Way more calcium, 40% more protein, 43% less cholesterol. I mean, there's more things about it. But like, honestly, it's the most delicious milk that I've ever had.
I'll take your word for it.
Like, I love it. I picked it up and I was running some other errands and I was drinking it and I was like, this is so good. I must go get more. So I went and I got 2 more. I'm going to save that one for tomorrow.
All right.
I still don't see where we're going at with this.
Well, I hope that I'm in view here. The video that you've actually been watching is also from several days ago, and the whole having milk and being reborn and that whole experience is actually
Just one of many things that you probably figured out while stoned.
complete, and I find myself leveling out in the relationship with food in just a whole new way and really experiencing life.
I never thought that I would be able to come across something that I think would be scarier for someone who was a food addict to go to than Overeaters Anonymous. And now we have. It's Jordan.
Brand new, showing up differently in a way that is hard to describe, but I hope that the energy will come across over the course of time in the content that we create. But I wanted to cut myself in because there was a few other pieces that I wanted to share in this video that I didn't feel like I adequately shared the first cut. And so the first
I still think you were stoned, by the way.
is this. Why did I do it? Why did I do a 40-day fast? And the truth is there was actually several reasons for it.
40-day fast. I feel like I've heard that term somewhere. Like someone big did a 40-day fast once. Do y'all have any recollection of that? Like some ancient figure did a 40-day fast? That whole sounds real familiar to me.
One was wanting to be closer to God, wanting to know spirit, know this invisible
God? Okay, so you fasted so that you could get to know God? I mean, if you didn't do it correctly, you'd be meeting God yourself if he existed, but, go on.
universal cosmic force on a deeper level, which is why daily meditation and spiritual practices like that and reading scripture, reading different holy books was so significant to me.
So you read the Bible like everybody else, like almost everybody else has. I mean, very few people have read the Bible cover to cover, but I imagine most people have read at least a few pages or perhaps a couple of books of the Bible. So how are you any different from them, Jordan?
In the last several years, I have actually been reading the Bible. Another reason for this fast was
Ooh, that's a bad sign. We might be seeing Jordan go down the New Age to Christianity pipeline like Doreen Virtue did.
in fact, trying to solve a problem. In fact, this is how the fast first came into my mind. Now, the truth is, for several years, I've often thought that I would do a 40-day water fast because, well,
Whoa.
Jesus...
A 40-day water fast where all you drink is water? Do you have any idea how dangerous that is, Jordan? Of course you don't.
Moses and Buddha all claimed, or all we understand, did these very long fasts. The stories of Moses and Jesus all both, I believe, say 40 days, but Buddha, you hear several versions of it. One is a 40-day, one is a 7-year, and
maybe that's because it's inconsistent, because the Buddha is probably a product of narrative, much like Jesus probably was.
One, I think, is a 7-day or something like that. So, nevertheless, the 40-day thing really stood out to me. And there was a part of me that wanted to do it before I turned 33. I turned 33 this coming May 19th. And
so why then? Why 33? What's so significant about 33, Jordan?
33 is a very sacred number in many spiritual traditions. Of course, Jesus went to the cross at 33.
I guess that explains my answer.
There are 33 vertebrae in the spine, and
that literally means nothing, Jordan.
It feels like every year you're kind of working your way up this journey, that first 33 years. And of course, there's 33 degrees in Freemasonry, and when you reach the apex of that journey, you have attained mastery within that particular school. I felt it.
So you're grasping at straws again, Jordan. Sounds great.
You know, kind of calling to me, this do it before you're 33 kind of thing. And so
I feel like he just did it for bragging rights, but go on, I'll keep entertaining it, Jordan.
In addition to those ideas, I went into prayer and meditation several months ago because there was a perceived mistake that I felt that I had made, and I wanted to correct it. And in my...
Like, literally coming up with every form of bullshit ever? Apologizing for the Hidden Human History video? I'm really interested. What was this mistake, Jordan?
My prayers and meditation, I was just going, Spirit, God, how can I solve this problem? And I received this loud and clear 40-day fast. And I was like, oh, it's time, must be time.
That you totally weren't already thinking about, Jordan. Come on. Have some sense for once in your life.
And I said, when should I start? And I got this really clear, just February 13th. I had no idea that it actually lined up with Lent. And so the 40 days of Lent, which celebrated Jesus' 40-day fast, I ended up...
Yeah, you totally didn't align that at all deliberately. Come on, Jordan.
Doing exactly like fasting during that window, which was really cool. The day the fast ended was Palm Sunday. And
yeah, you totally didn't set that up. That just totally just naturally happened.
So to celebrate that morning, I actually
ate like a pig.
I have been reading the Bible, and I was on the book of Revelation. I was on the last book. And so I woke up in that morning before I had any food or any milk, which was, I had always been planning to end the fast with milk. And of course, my friend created that dish for me. But the first thing that I did was I got some water and I sat down and I read out loud the book of Revelation because, well, I was just going to read it.
Why the book of Revelation of all things? That literally is like the apocalypse, something that you shouldn't believe in as someone who isn't a Christian, to my knowledge.
But then the opening line says, those who read this out loud will be blessed. And I was like, well, I can't turn that down. So I went through that chapter and was complete on it.
He also is conveniently keeping out parts of that verse, which are literally right in his face. It says, blessed are those who hear it and take it to heart, which I doubt Jordan is going to do, unless he actually converts to Christianity.
And, you know, there were many other reasons for why I decided to do this as well. Just good...
bragging rights.
all-round reasons, like knowing myself, knowing what I'm made of, knowing what I'm capable of, pushing myself beyond the old version of myself and wanting to create a higher expression of who and what Jordan River is.
Right, that's
And
another one.
so-
He keeps changing his last name all the time. So it's Jordan Pierce, Jordan Duchesne or something like that, and he also has started using Jordan River. So it's like he changes his last name every 4 to 5 years.
You know, I could go on, but those were some of the core reasons for why I decided to do this fast. Now, speaking of the Bible and holy texts, now I understand that many people watching this channel probably might not care about this next part, but
Well, yeah, because you don't have a Christian audience, Jordan. You have a New Age audience.
think that everyone, if you give it the chance, that you might find it interesting.
I'm telling y'all, it's the signs are all there. I give it a year or two. He's gonna probably do what Doreen Virtue did, destroy all of her content, destroy all of her tarot cards, and convert to Christianity, and basically admonish it all, and deny it, and rebuke it all. I bet you Jordan does that in the next couple of years.
Of course, many people watching, there are New Age people, there are people who identify as witches or Wicca or in that vein, you know, occult practitioners. There are Christians who watch this channel, and people of all...
I don't doubt you, but I imagine that the number of Christians that are watching you are pretty dang small, considering you probably piss off a lot of evangelicals just by being who you are.
Different spiritual practices and faiths. And so I like to try and, you know, speak to all of them. And I don't ever wish to come across as being exclusively just, you know, Christian or Buddhist or Hindu or anything, or just New Age, you know, because all of these I find to be ways of connecting with spirit. And there are infinite ways.
I mean, I'll give him points for trying to connect all of the religions into one, but the problem is that's never going to happen.
Of honoring and connecting with the invisible force underlying the fabric of reality. You know, ultimately it comes down to our relationship with consciousness and our consciousness and collective consciousness and that which is beyond us, and also the earth, which I believe I've mentioned earlier in this video. And so I'm bringing this up because along the journey of this fast, there was a question and a fear that I had, which was it right, and is it right to talk about this fast?
I mean, it depends on the reason that you want to talk about the fast. I used to work for a Jewish attorney who fasted, but he only did it during the morning. At night, he could eat whatever he wanted.
Around day 20, I made a post or a video here on YouTube, and I talked about what it was that was going on behind the scenes, and I mentioned that I was doing this 40-day fast. And I had this thought, I put a lot of thought into it, but there was this fear, like, doesn't it say biblically that we shouldn't talk about fasting if we're fasting?
Or praying, or doing anything like that. Yes, you are correct, Jordan. I believe that is in the book of Matthew.
And that morning, the final morning when I was reading the book of Revelation, before I opened up that book, I remember sitting in meditation and just wondering, did I do this horrible wrong thing? Should I really
Probably.
be talking about this?
Probably not.
And I got this message of go to the scripture, like go and reread that line again.
Go to the scripture. Oh, I don't like where this is going.
Oh, of course. And so I did, and I actually have the book out here, and I wanted to share this line because I realized the answer is no. The answer is actually I was very in the clear, and I there was this huge relief.
Okay, please explain, Jordan, because that's pretty clear cut what you're doing. Because I remember in the New Testament, it says if you're fasting, you should anoint yourself to make it look like you're not fasting.
But I wanted to speak to this because I know that there are probably some people, at least some Christians, who might be watching going, you're ruining the magic of the fast by talking about it, because Jesus
I wouldn't say you're ruining the magic, but you're definitely using it for an ulterior purpose, Jordan.
says in Matthew 6:16, and when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Jesus was speaking
You're literally bragging about it. That counts, Jordan.
to the nature of what was going on at the time, because there's so many secret will reward.
Hang on.
The Pharisees who are acting in this very hypocritical way. And so they would be fasting, it sounds like, and they'd be going around outside in public being like, oh, look at me, I'm fasting.
That's literally this video, Jordan. Your entire video is you talking about this fast. You're bragging about it almost.
Look at how pious I am. Oh, you know?
That's literally what you're doing, Jordan.
And I realized, I didn't do that. In fact, the place that I was coming from in sharing that I was fasting was this place of, I imagine if Jesus was about to go and do his fast, he probably told his loyal followers, hey, I'm going to be gone for the next 40 days in the desert.
That's a little different from bragging to everybody and everything on YouTube, Jordan.
And he just goes off. And I thought, well, that's kind of where I'm coming from. I don't, of course, see the beautiful Spiritverse audience as apostles or anything like that.
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you, Jordan?
But I was coming from this place of saying, look, I want to inform the people who are following me and my work what's going on behind the scenes. This isn't to try and make a big deal out of it. I just want to share what's going on.
And why do you have to make a comment about the fast? There's a bunch of other things that you could be talking about behind the scenes. You made a very emotional video about a month or so ago saying that Spirit Science was running out of money, for example.
Going through the fast, there was a lot of time that I was working, but I also did need to take time for rest and for prayer and meditation and learning and all of these things. And so progress was a little bit slower, but I think very, very necessary in order for me to be able to show up for you like this right now. Where my heart is now and today, I really want to feel like giving endlessly like a river, to be in service to you and all of mankind.
Totally doesn't sound narcissistic.
And to do my very best to show up in this new way and to give to you so that you may benefit and prosper, that all of us may benefit and prosper and live harmoniously in the world. And I hope I'm not going to sound like a broken record, because I might also
Too late for that, Jordan.
have said something similar to this in the other clip, but
And at no point have you mentioned how dangerous this could possibly be. At no point have you said this. This going all day a water fast where you only drink water, that's dangerous, Jordan. Assuming you actually did it, you could have put your health in extreme danger.
I feel even more cohesive today than I did, when I filmed that last one. And
Good for
over the
you,
course
Jordan.
of this week, every single day comes with new lessons and new blessings as I continue to restabilize myself to this new place of being. Thank you for watching this,
And so,
and much love.
yeah, go away, Jordan. So there you go. Jordan spent 40 days and 40 nights drinking water, and now he thinks he's Jesus. And I think that is a great way to end all of this, because people who think that they're Jesus, often extremely bad things will happen to them. But we'll have to see in due time. Like I've said before, a lot of Jordan's pro-Christian rhetoric is very concerning, because it sounds like he's on his way down the New Age to Christianity pipeline. However, that remains to be seen whether he actually will convert to Christianity. I don't know if he will or not, because it means he's going to lose a shit ton of his audience and a lot of profits, but who knows? Maybe this 40-day water fast, assuming that he actually did it, will be the sign of Jordan trying to target another audience. Thank you for listening to the World of Woocraft podcast. If you like my work, you can subscribe to my Patreon, as well as my YouTube and Twitch accounts. Google Lord Falconis and you'll find me. You can also share my content and help put an end to predatory New Age scams and pseudoscientific extremism. Sic semper charlatani. Until next time.